You know that feeling when you wake up right in the middle of a dream and you have this absolutely brilliant idea?
Oh, yeah, it makes perfect sense in your head. Right.
Exactly. But by the time you stumble out of bed and like find your phone to type it out,
Yeah.
the thought is just gone.
Completely gone. Yeah.
Now, I mean, what if you didn't need to move a muscle? What if you could literally just think your ideas directly onto a digital page?
I mean, it sounds like we're pulling straight from science fiction, but that physical barrier between thought and text is actively being dismantled right now.
And that is exactly our mission for today's deep dive. We're looking at Meta's new research, Brain2Qwerty V2. It's an AI system that decodes silent thoughts into text without requiring any kind of surgical implants.
Right.
Beyond just saving our lost dreams, this is an incredibly uplifting story about restoring voices to people who have lost the physical ability to communicate.
The historical bottleneck here has always been, well, just access to the brain's signals. To get a high-performing brain-computer interface, you had to undergo highly invasive, intracranial neurosurgery.
Right, which is obviously a huge barrier.
Exactly. And the non-invasive alternatives were perfectly safe, but practically useless. Things like EEG caps that measure electrical activity on your scalp.
Oh, yeah.
They struggled with a really dismal 8% word accuracy rate, but Brain2Qwerty V2 just hit a 61% average word accuracy and actually reached 78% for their best participant.
Wow. I mean, 78% is a massive jump from 8, but that still means what, like 1 in every 4 words is wrong?
Yeah, about that.
How are they getting that much clearer of a signal from outside the skull? Because, I mean, trying to get clean data through the skull with old methods always sounded to me like trying to transcribe a muffled conversation through a thick concrete wall.
That is a perfect analogy, and it's exactly why they moved away from measuring electrical zaps on the scalp.
So what do they use instead?
They used a device called an MEG, or magnetoencephalography.
Okay, Meg.
Right. Rather than trying to read the electricity that gets smeared and distorted by your skull and your skin, the MEG picks up the incredibly faint magnetic fields that those electrical signals create.
Oh, interesting.
Think of it like feeling the heat radiating from a fire rather than trying to touch the actual flames.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so 9 volunteers wore this MEG device for 10 hours each. And they just silently read out 22,000 sentences.
Wait, 10 hours of raw brainwaves.
Yeah.
That is a staggering amount of data to process.
It really is.
And hey, speaking of processing massive amounts of data in complex AI, this is actually a perfect time to mention that this podcast is sponsored by Silk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so if you need help with AI training or automation or integration or even software development,
They do a lot.
they really do. If you're uncovering where agents could make the most impact for your business or honestly, even your personal life, definitely check out embersilk.com for all your AI needs.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the study. How does the system actually map a magnetic ripple to a specific English word?
Well, historically, researchers tried to handcraft rules for this, looking for a specific spike and guessing, oh, that meant a certain syllable.
Which sounds completely impossible.
It was far too complex. So Meta used end-to-end deep learning. They fed the raw, noisy magnetic patterns directly into the AI, and the AI itself learned the incredibly subtle patterns that correlate to specific words.
But wait, brainwaves are notoriously chaotic, right?
Yeah.
How does it know the difference between me thinking the word bear as in like empty and bear as in the animal just from a magnetic field?
So it relies heavily on context.
Yeah.
They fine-tuned large language models, LLMs, directly on this neural data.
Okay.
So the system uses the semantic context of your whole sentence to bridge the gap between that really noisy Meg recording and coherent language.
I see.
And in a really fascinating twist, they actually used autonomous AI agents, a system called Auto Research, to write the code and optimize this entire decoding pipeline entirely on its own.
Hold on, though. If it's relying heavily on an LLM for context, isn't that just acting like a superpowered autocorrect for your brainwaves?
How do you mean?
Well, what if the AI guesses a grammatically perfect sentence that actually isn't what you were thinking at all? Like it just fills in the blanks wrong.
That is a brilliant point, and it's a crucial distinction. When researchers analyzed the errors, they found that, while the LLM might occasionally guess the wrong specific character or word if the signal is fuzzy, the semantic error rate actually plummeted.
Semantic meaning like the actual point you're trying to make?
Exactly. So you might think, I am incredibly happy, and it outputs, I am very glad.
Oh, wow.
Right. It preserves the actual meaning of your thoughts, which is what truly matters for communication.
Right, because we're capturing the essence of the thought, even if the exact lettering is slightly off. So where does this tech go from here?
Well, the most inspiring finding in the data is that their decoding accuracy improves log linearly with the volume of data. It hasn't plateaued at all.
Oh, so more data just means better results.
Exactly. It suggests that we can completely close the performance gap with those risky surgical implants simply by scaling up the training data.
We just feed it more data, and we get closer to a world without physical barriers to communication. I mean, it is an incredibly hopeful horizon.
It really is.
But it does leave you with something kind of fascinating to mull over. If we're building machines to translate our silent thoughts directly into digital text, it sort of assumes our thoughts are neatly structured as words before we speak them.
That's very true.
So are your deepest ideas actually formed in language, or are we just forcing our raw consciousness into a QWERTY keyboard? Definitely something to keep wondering about.
A great question to end on.
Yeah. Hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the show. Leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out. Thanks for tuning in.